Thursday, August thirst. Am I that thirsty for the sip of the day? Is it August 1st? How about that? By the way, it's like the sip of the day right there. I remembered to turn my microphone on for the beginning of this show. It's a big show, Thursday, August 1st. Welcome to the Damon Brew Show, brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. And I'm very happy to announce a brand new partner here on the Damon Brew Show. And you know what? They're a little something that we like to call BetUS. It's where the gaming begins. And if you are interested in betting, in gambling this year, let me tell you, BetUS is your answer for one-stop shop and for all of your needs. It really is. I'm thrilled to have them aboard as a sponsor. They're going to be sponsoring shows and videos throughout the year. 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000. And what I'd love you to do, if you are interested in supporting this channel, if you are interested in watching this bad boy grow, well then please go ahead and just click right on the little link that I just sent in the chat. It is also in the description of this video. Click on there and sign up for BetUS. Here we go, baby. Maximum football.
Maximum football!
Fast, easy deposits, easy withdrawal. This is the best variety. It's major gaming, and you will like what you get with BetUS. But again, don't take my word for it.
BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
Look at us getting all fancy with in-show commercials. Thanks to BetUS. Again, welcome aboard. It is great to have them here. Click on the link to learn more and start having fun right now. Again, you take all those winnings and you bring them to Ike's. You get your sandwich for the day. Download that Ike's app. Start eating your way towards free sandwiches. Over 100 locations in 7 different states. That's my man, the OG title sponsor of them all right there. Ike, thank you so very much. And then again, if you have to drown your sorrows because maybe the betting didn't go so well for you, the sandwich is guaranteed to go great. The gambling, that's up to you. You can drown sorrows. You can go out and buy a bottle to celebrate at the Dubliner and West Portal. Thanks to them for hosting Plus Mania this past weekend. It was fantastic. We love the Dubliner. West Portal, take Muni there. It's a lot easier than driving. So there you go. Thanks so much to all of our sponsors. It is football season officially beginning this evening with a little something called the Hall of Fame game. That is exciting, but it won't be very exciting because the Chicago Bears won't be showing you the #1 overall pick in the draft. We'll get to that in just a second. I do want to start, though, with what's going on in Paris. So when I saw this new nickname for LeBron, I'm like, all right, that's officially a good one. Somebody called him Captain LeMerica, and it's perfect. It really is. And it's unbelievable. All of his nicknames don't exactly line up with reality. King James, okay, we've heard that. LBJ, not a nickname, those are initials. The Chosen One, that was more of a Sports Illustrated cover than it was anything else. No one walks around calling him the Chosen One. Bron, I'm not comfortable calling another man Bron. The Little Emperor, I never heard anyone call LeBron that. These are all on his basketball reference page, by the way. The Akron Hammer, okay, so I've heard that one. That's been around since high school. L Train, of course, easy. Benjamin Buckets, never heard of that one. I've never heard anyone say, oh man, Benjamin Buckets is on the court. No one. Captain LeMerica, mwah, perfect, no notes. Fantastic. I mean, seriously, truly fantastic. Captain LeMerica. That's unbelievable. Look, this is a guy who turns 40 in December. And he might not have been the best player on the court throughout the entire game. Maybe that was Bam Adebayo. It certainly wasn't Joel Embiid catching his coach DMP. But after getting a scare from South Sudan in the tune-up, they ran right over him in Paris in the second game of Olympic competition, and there was like an 8-minute stretch where it was time to make sure everybody's locked into this game, and LeBron just takes over. This guy is way too old to be taking over quite like this almost every single time we look up. There has not been. I mean, this is coming from somebody who is here to tell you that Steph Curry probably defines basketball's growth and change and explosion more than anybody, any of his contemporaries. Steph Curry is one of the more transformative figures in the history of basketball. LeBron James is the better player. Like, LeBron doesn't have like I only scored 3 tonight like Steph did against South Sudan. You know, just an off night for Steph. And if it's an off shooting night for Steph, sure, he can contribute with his gravity and his on-court presence. And, you know, Steph is a very good ball handler and he knows how to pass and all those things. But LeBron is all those things too. And he is just an animal when it comes to no physical limitations put on him. You can't really slow him down. Is there a better downhill basketball player in my lifetime than LeBron James? I don't know. I mean, that goes back to the L Train nickname. He is unstoppable. When he gets going, when he's got gravity behind him, you don't slow him down. And what's really, truly incredible, I mean, and you know, if you don't like LeBron James, you've made a personal choice, but there's clearly not a lot of sports information that you're putting into that choice to not like the guy if you are not a fan of LeBron James, because there really has not been a guy that I can identify. Maybe you can. I mean, leave a description in the comments if you can identify this player. Let me know who you think they are. Who in the history of sports has ever had a career where you've been one of the best guys in your sport from the day you were in it to the day you're exiting it? Because that's what LeBron is. There really hasn't been a guy who's been this good from the day he started and remains this good to the day he decides to stop, maybe ever in sports. He was among the best players in the league when he made his NBA debut so many years ago, and he remains one of the best players in the league at the age of 39, and it's indisputable. Like, there's statistical evidence backing this up. It's not just an opinion. And again, I think it's important to let you know that I've never spent a day of my life rooting for a single team LeBron James has ever played for. As a matter of fact, I have spent more time rooting against LeBron James's teams in NBA finals and in big moments than I've had rooting for him. You know, I still think that if, you know, we had to encapsulate one person to represent the pure soul of basketball, it's Michael Jordan. I believe that. But LeBron James, through 1,492 regular season games, all of his playoff games, all of his NBA Finals games, all of his Olympics, all of his 20 All-Star games, we might as well include his entire high school career as well. There has never been a cat quite like this one. Never. He is unbelievable. Truly, truly unbelievable, unique, and his ability to stay hungry and fresh and locked in and dominate guys who are quite literally half his age. It's remarkable. It's really remarkable. On a team of everybody here is a freaking stud. He remains the studliest. He does. He does. You know, Kevin Durant, fabulous player, fabulous scorer. He's not the leader, the come follow me guy that LeBron James has ever been. Steph Curry is in many ways a basketball equal to LeBron James in terms of impact and scoring power and ability to change games. And he's also very much, you know, inadequate compared to LeBron James from just a physical standpoint. From a physical standpoint, LeBron James is one of the most perfect professional athletes ever delivered from God's mind to planet Earth. It's just, he is something special. And he is using this Olympics once again to show everyone how incredibly special he really is. And he's unbelievable. He is. He's Captain LeMerica. Guy is unbelievable. So I wanted to start with a little LeBron. I love a good nickname, and that certainly is one of them. I did my very best with the thumbnail. I tried to Photoshop in the Captain America shield, make it look like LeBron was was holding it. I don't know if that's what you picked up there, but that's what I was going for when I made the thumbnail. So hopefully you like that one. Again, hopefully you like BetUS. Click the link that I shared with you in the chats. There is a link in the description as well. You can go there and start having fun right now, and up to a 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000. I got to get my talking points all down. Today's just day one, but it's wonderful to have them here. It's wonderful to have you here. Like and subscribe. The sip of the day came early today. I mean, that could be it too. Maybe that's officially the sip. I can't have two official sips of the day. Now we're crossing streams. You don't cross streams. But that's really, really good. Really, really good stuff that's happening in the Olympics. We have a little Olympic controversy about a transgender boxer, but I am going to save that for the end of this show, not put it right here, because there are a few other things that we got to talk about before we start separating the audience between I'm offended and I can actually listen to something that is a nuanced conversation. So that's coming later in the show. Right now, let's get back to something that I think we can all agree on. There's very little, who's going to say, no, that guy should not be in the 49ers Hall of Fame. Get him out. No one's ever going to say that about Frank Gore. As a matter of fact, if you ask me, hey, Damon, is Frank Gore in the 49ers Team Hall of Fame right now? I would have said, yeah, he's already in. He's not. Like, that feels like a little bit of an oversight. Frank Gore is not in the 49ers Team Hall of Fame, but will be when we get to week one. He will be inducted Monday night, September 9th, against the New York Jets at Levi's Stadium. He is the 49ers all-time leading rusher, and honestly, I thought he was in the Team Hall of Fame. I would have lost a lot of money on my BetUS bets bet. Hey, Damon, $100, Frank Gore in or out of the 49ers Hall of Fame. I would have been like, oh, he's already in. Easy play. Well, that'll pay as a winner come September 10th, because September 9th is when he gets inducted. All I can tell you is that Frank Gore gives off one of the ultimate football OG vibes that you will ever be around in your life. To stand next to Frank Gore is to stand next to a living legend who every single player on that field absolutely genuflects towards when they look at him, when they talk about him. This guy is one of the all-time, that dude is for real guys. And he's also one of the all-time best football players left out of just about everybody's best football player conversation. If we sat down and talked about great running backs for 15, 20, 30 minutes, what do you want to bet Frank Gore's name never even gets said? It's like he was hiding in plain sight through so much of his career. And his career was marked by being there, ready to go, uninjured, and playing. So much so that he never had the monster year where he separated himself from everyone else. Like, his statistics never blew you off the page, but he was one of the more steady Eddie, can count on this guy in all moment football players of all time. He is the NFL's third leading rusher all time. 16,000 career yards, a franchise record 11,073 yards when he was with the 49ers from 2005 through 2014. And those were teams where he, for a lot of them, was the only guy you really needed to worry about. And he still kept coming and coming and coming. I couldn't believe it. Frank Gore is not already in the 49ers Team Hall of Fame. He gets in week one this year. Mazel to Frank Gore. He deserves to be in there. One of the all-timers that has sort of been lost to time. Really. We consider it, we will bring up Barry Sanders and Walter Payton and Emmitt Smith. We will talk about Terrell Davis, excuse me. We will talk about, Derrick Henry. We will talk about, obviously, you want to go backwards into, the Jim Brown, Great running. LaDainian Tomlinson probably gets brought up. Marshall Faulk might get brought up before you hear Frank Gore's name in these conversations. He was a stud. NFL 49er training camp news. What do we got for you? Ricky Pearsall. Apparently, man, he's looking like a natural football player. Cody Schrader, couple of rookies, looking like a natural football player. When I hear about how natural they look out on the field and how, Kyle Juszczyk is just saying the guy fits and these guys are fitting, and everyone's saying Ricky Pearsall, man, he's got a little something going on with Brock already. This is good news. There's two things I think of. Number one, is this bad news for Brandon Aiyuk? Number two, it makes me think of Lester Freeman from The Wire. You watch The Wire, I certainly hope. It's really nothing short of maybe the best TV show ever. And Lester Freeman was always talking about natural police. There are people who are police. There are people who became police. There are those who are police and they're bad at it. And there are just some guys who are natural police. They know how to put a case together. They know how to track down a criminal. They know how to do their paperwork. They know how to do the field work. They are natural police. Well, we're hearing an awful lot about natural football players. Dominic Pooney taking advantage of the reps he's getting due to injuries in front of him. And he is a natural offensive lineman from an awful lot of people. Ricky Pearsall, he's a natural wide receiver. Cody Schrader, he's a natural running back. Natural police. I love that. God, I love Lester Freeman. There are, there are countless great characters in The Wire. I think if we're being honest, any draft of great characters from The Wire, I think the order is Omar has to be your number one overall pick. He's the most interesting character maybe in the history of television. So you got Omar, and then it's either Lester Freeman or Bunk. You can put Bunk above Lester Freeman, but I think it's Omar number one with a bullet. No pun intended. Lester Freeman, Bunk. And then of course you get McNulty and you get everybody, you get everybody else. Everybody else comes after that. Lester Freeman was the man. I love Lester Freeman. Other NFL training camp news. There is news out of New England Patriots camp that the Patriots look god-awful right now, and that Drake May might be Mac Jones 2.0, which, based on early impressions, let's not try to use this as a defining feature, but there are guys who show up right away and look like natural police, and there are other guys who needs to start as frickin' meter maids. And apparently a natural quarterback is a little hard to see in Drake May right now in New England. Look, should the Patriots pick up the phone and call the San Francisco 49ers about Brandon Aiyuk? Would that get these unimpressive offensive practices that are being reported in New England looking a little bit different? I want Brandon Aiyuk on the 49ers, but if Brandon Aiyuk doesn't want to be at the 49ers anymore, something needs to happen here. All I'm saying is that the situation with Brandon Aiyuk in Santa Clara does not seem to be improving. And it feels like every single precinct out of New England is saying this offense needs to do something other than what we've looked at through 6 days of training camp. Maybe there's a little motivation there on both sides. Just throwing it out there. A natural trade suggestion. Not that I want Brandon Aiyuk traded. I don't. I'm sorry. We got the wife checking in. Nice Zootopia meter maid police reference, honey. Thank you. Yeah, when the little rabbit is allowed to join the police force, she wants more than to be a meter maid, but she has to, she's got to show up day one, do some meter maid stuff. Then she catches the fox melting down the big popsicles to sell to the little animals, and no spoilers. I don't want to spoil Zootopia for anyone. But yes, I absolutely, honey, you know how I think. You do know that Zootopia has played an inspirational role on today's show. Jillian working hard today, by the way. Thanks for watching, honey. Thank you very, very much. Hello to everyone. We will hop into Club Plus in just a little bit. I can promise you that. Earlier in the week, Brock, he's throwing some training camp interception. Blah. We're not going to do this again. We're not. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You want to know what a bad day of training camp is? Let me tell you what a bad day of training camp is, because the Cleveland Browns had one today. The Cleveland Browns are at the Greenbrier in West Virginia. That's where their training camp is taking place for some reason. I don't know. I don't fucking care. What I do know is that Browns running back Deontay Foreman left practice this morning after sustaining a direct blow to his head that resulted in neck pain. The injury occurred towards the end of a punt period, and Foreman was put on a backboard, and he left the field on an ambulance. Good news. He's got feeling in all of his extremities. He's being transported to a medical center that is better than the one around the Greenbrier. Wherever that ambulance took him, they said, this is a minor league ballpark. We need a major league hospital. So he has been medevaced to a hospital in Virginia that specializes in head and neck trauma for further evaluation. But any neck injury that starts with the player being strapped to a backboard and then the story pivots to he can feel his extremities, that's good. But this is scary, and what it means to his career, I don't know. Every single Cleveland Brown, probably even the atheists, took a knee and said a prayer at the end of practice for their teammate. That's a bad day of training camp. Not an interception. Not a handful of unimpressive red zone moments. All of that is just football practice. Get all the bad out of you in football practice. That's what practice is for, to get the bad out and install the good. A bad training camp is where you have a near catastrophic neck injury. A good training camp is everyone at the end of today's session is healthy. And, got a couple of hamstrings down in Santa Clara. Compared to what happened today to the Cleveland Browns, no big whoop. NFL preseason again.
Maximum football!
It starts tonight. Tonight we got, Chicago Bears against Houston Texans, Canton, Ohio. It's the Hall of Fame game. And our first look at Caleb Williams in a Bear. Nope, he's not playing. Look, I understand. There's a part of me that understands, but there's another part of me that says, all right, he's never played at all. Have him go a series. Throw your starter out there. Give us a look. Drum up some excitement. Do it. Do it. You telling me that Caleb Williams needs to be on the, bubble wrap to opening day status? Come on. I don't like that. But I'll watch. I'll absolutely watch. I heard someone around here grew up a Bears fan. I don't know who that is. Ike? Was that you? No, you're from the Bay Area originally. So, you want to talk just a little bit of baseball before we get into the controversial stuff today? Let's do that. Let's do that real quick. So the Giants beat the A's last night, a 1-0 shutout behind the single rarest occurrence in professional sports, a complete game from a major league starting pitcher. All right, might not be the single most rare occurrence, but it's starting to feel more and more like it. I mean, a complete game bid almost comes with a degree of drama that used to only be reserved for no-hitters and perfect games. Like a pitcher working on a complete game shutout in the ninth inning is like, should we stand up and pace in the living room? These things are rare. We don't get a lot of complete gamers. Webb, look, was brilliant against the A's, so there's a sliding scale of brilliance. Maybe, maybe not. A's lineup actually isn't that bad. Scattered 5 hits. He struck out 6. He walked 1. Nearly got the Greg Maddux, by the way, where you have a complete game shutout in under 100 pitches. Webb took 106 to get his complete game on Wednesday night. So the Giants are back to 2 games under 500 as a team. Webb is back to 500 this season as a pitcher. He's now 8-8 with a 3.49 ERA. Now, not all 5-1 homestands are created equal. 5-1 is always good to be over any 6-game sample size in a major league season. But to go 5-1 at home against the Rockies and then the A's is not a harbinger of great things to come as much as it is, well, you got to do that because these are bad teams. Now here comes a 7-game road trip. First 3 in Cincinnati, the next 4 in Washington. Guess what the Reds and the Nats are? They're bad teams. They're teams with worse records than the San Francisco Giants. You got a 7-game road trip. You just went 5-1 on a home game, on a 6-game homestand. Go 5-2 on this 7-game road trip. You know, if the Giants really want to be taken seriously, they got to start seriously winning games and stringing good days together, good series together, good at-bats together, good turns through the rotation together. You know, Logan Webb did the bullpen a favor with a complete game shutout. That's the right thing to see, happen before you take off on a road trip. So, what do you got going here, Giants? You got to go 5-2 on this 7-gamer. Give me 5-2, and I'll keep paying an awful lot of attention. Outside of that, preseason football's around the corner. So good luck, Major League Baseball, holding our already limited attention. Good luck. Good luck. We've reached the portion of the show here where I'm going to invite all easily offended viewers to come on back tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. If you're easily offended, you might want to step off the bus right here, right now. Not that I'm going to go out of my way to try to offend anyone, but no matter what you say these days about the most benign subjects, the least controversial subjects, you're likely to say something that offends somebody. When you talk about transgender athletes, you're like basically tiptoeing through the minefield of, okay, now we're going to definitely piss somebody off. But I have to talk about this. All right, I got to talk about this because the video is pretty compelling. A woman who was born a man was allowed to box in Olympic competition, and the woman in the fight, the natural biological woman in the fight, she was from Italy, I believe. She was pummeled over about 48 seconds before she quits the bout. And as they're holding up the winner's hand, she's basically breaking down in tears. Whatever Olympic dreams she had in women's boxing came to an end against a man who is now a woman. Now, look, here I am in San Francisco. And one of the things I'm most proud of this city is the way it tries to be progressive in its thought. I can't worry about any dick other than my own. Well, I guess I worry about my boys now. So there are 3 penises that I worry about. That's it. Mine, Jack, and Ozzy's. I got to take care of those boys. We're going to raise Jack and Ozzy to treat everybody equally, to be kind to people. And in San Francisco, what I love about this town is you are allowed to zig away from the normal constructs of society, and no one is going to zag and say you're doing it wrong. San Francisco, even though it seems like we're all up in each other's asses all the time, no pun intended there, we're pretty good at minding our own business. Like, as long as what you're doing in your life doesn't hurt anybody else, do it. Do whatever it takes to feel more like yourself, to be happier. I don't care. Again, I don't care what you do to be happy in your own skin. Having said that, here in San Francisco, I can also tell you that if there were any city in America where you'd think like every other person would be transgender, it would be this one, and that's not how it works. You know, I've lived in San Francisco for about 20 years now. 20 years. And I think I can count the amount of times I have been aware that that person is indeed a transgender person, maybe one a year, maybe 20 times in my 20 years out here. This issue, which is a boutique issue, has been turned into Walmart because this issue was very easy to weaponize in a political culture war, which we are fighting on a minute-by-minute, day-by-day basis, which is absurd, but it's what the conversation has become. I truly believe that everyone should be left alone as long as you're not hurting anybody else. Now let's talk about sports. Because you can have all of the societal truths that you want redefined to make everything equitable for everybody. Sports is not theory. Sports is very much the practice of this idea and this ability is victorious and this idea and this ability is defeated. There is binary choices. The transgender issue comes without a binary definition, right? Isn't that like at the heart of it? Sports is binary. It truly is. And a long, long, long time ago, we decided that there is such an extreme difference in the physical nature of men and women for the sake of athletic competition, we have to separate one from the other. That choice has been made by the cosmos, much like the choice of your assigned gender at birth. Is that the right way to say it? I mean, like assign, like gender isn't like homework. It doesn't get assigned to you. Like do it or do whatever you want to do it or don't. No, it's you're born a man or a woman. Now, if you want to muddle that equation, okay, that's a choice you're making. I think, though, that choice pretty much has to eliminate you from athletic endeavors in unequal situations. Like, if we can start a transgender athletic competition for all of these people, maybe that's what needs to have happen. Because let me tell you what you can't have happen, and no sane person, the biggest transgender person in the world, if they are indeed a sane person, would have to admit that not a single sane person would ever allow a man to fight a woman in the Olympics. Come on. How you see yourself, how you define yourself has nothing to do with your body type, with your skeleton, with your muscularity, with your power, with your strength. These are not choices that you can rearrange to suit what you want. These are predestined in your genetic facts. Men are stronger and faster than women. That shit is facts. Like, we have proven that on the field, in the lab, theoretically, logistically. We've proved it millions of years ago. So we took the competition and we separated them. Men over here, women over here. We have allowed a modern issue, which has been weaponized for horrible reasons. But we have allowed a modern issue to try to redefine something that we already know. Men and women can't compete against each other in fucking combat sports, right? Right? Like, there's a difference between, like, oh, there's a transgender person in the pool, and this person who was born a man is literally lapping these gals in the pool. We saw that. We saw that. And, you know, whatever level of outrage you want to assign to that, I'll tell you, at the end of that swim meet, nobody's drowning. You can get killed in a boxing ring. You can get killed in a combat sport. Men kill other men in the ring. Now, I know with Olympics and the softer gloves and the headgear, no one's getting killed in an Olympic boxing ring. But folks, we got to draw the line somewhere. Like, we can't have the concept of equality work its way into something that we know is defined as unequal. We can't do that. I don't know what the right answer is, but I do know that the poor Italian woman who got the shit beat out of her in that boxing ring deserved a better, deserved an opponent that was more appropriate than a guy who now says, I'm no longer a guy, I'm a woman, I'm going to box as a woman. Like, South Park did an episode on this. And again, I want to be as inclusive. I am included being some pinko, commie, liberal, homo in San Francisco every other day on the internet. And for many things, yes. Okay, sure, I'll tell you, I'm a pinko, commie, liberal, homo, all those things. Okay, sure, fine, I don't care. I do believe in a lot of things that people say that's the libs, but I'm also a very conservative person, and I'm also a sane person, and I also cover sports for a living, and you gotta be able to say, well, that's not fair. An adult in the room needs to stand up and say, look, we cannot use the sport of boxing to address bigger, broader issues about transgender athletes. Like, it can't happen. It can't happen. There needs to be somebody stand up and say, well, that can't happen. I am all about you living your life in any way you want to, but sometimes we make choices over here that affects how we live over here. And I think that if you are a male athlete who then decides, I want to live as a woman, you kind of got to walk away from your athletic endeavors, because this is now what sort of defines you, not this anymore. And if you want to say, well, no, I want to live in a world where you can have it all, where you can have it all. That world doesn't exist anywhere but in Xanadu. This is the real fucking world over here. This is planet Earth. There are things that are real here that we have to consider more than emotion, more than theoretical theories or what we think should be the right way to do it. We know the right way to do it already. And the right way to do it is the men do this over here and the women do this over here. And if you don't know where you are on the men or women's scale anymore, or you think you now are over here when you were supposed to be over here, you really can't cross-pollinate sports and have it be fair. And that's that. You know, so what do you do about it? I don't know. It's not up to me to come up with that answer. But I am telling you that you cannot let a man go into a boxing ring and beat the shit out of a woman. And but Damon, that's no longer a man. He identifies as a woman now. All right, that's great. Tell that to the woman who was born a woman, who just got punched by a man-sized fist, man-sized knuckles, man-sized strength, man-sized skeletal frame. Come on. Come on, man. I believe in fair and equal, but I also believe in sportsmanship. And there's a reason why we separate men, women, weight classes. Again, there are degrees to this. It's not a full-on yes or no. It's a conversation that we might have been able to have as adults, but has been so weaponized by the extreme positions that represent both sides of this that, just to bring it up is to take your own employable future in your own hands and, let public outrage decide if you get canceled or not for your opinion on this. Well, luckily, I can't be canceled anymore. As long as the internet comes to my house, I'm here. And I thank you for being here. I thank you for watching. I know that there are a lot of like-minded people out there who think, hey, I'm all about equality, but this just doesn't smell right. And then you watch it, and you're like, this doesn't look right. So there you go. By the way, I'm not going to be, heading over to Outkick. I am now not going to be stumping for, I'm not pro-transgender. I'm not anti-transgender. I'm mind my own business. My business is sports. I'm telling you from a concept of just looking at this issue through the concept of sports, something needs to be done. Something needs to be done to make sure that the natural women are able to compete against their own. And that's that. The truth doesn't care who it offends. You cannot have a man fighting a woman in a combat sport and tell me that everything is on an equal playing field. It isn't. And you know that, but you want to go ahead and make some sort of an argument against it when you know it. Okay? I mean, I don't know what to do other than be honest with you. And I want to share a little history with you. We always like to wrap up with a little lesson. Today in history, August 1st, 2003, MySpace officially launched. MySpace, August 1st, 2003, it was the premier platform for social media. Facebook wouldn't come around for another 3 years. The Facebook didn't happen until 2006. And as soon as that happened, MySpace basically went away quickly. I remember looking at producers and people in studio with their MySpace pages up. And Brian Primetime Smith had a MySpace page when he was, working the board for the Razor and Mr. T. And I would walk into the studio and I'd be like, what is that? He's like, it's MySpace. I'm like, what, the whole room? He's like, no, the website. It's MySpace. I'm like, all right. I didn't have a MySpace account. Like, what do I want to do this? But, well, you know that you can go ahead and you can pick what song plays when someone clicks on it. And you can pick, do you want your color to be red or blue behind you? Do you want it to be green? I'm like, I don't care. How about no space? I was a late Facebook adapter. I was a late Twitter adapter. Hell, I'm a late internet adapter. Let's be totally honest about it. It's amazing this show's even happening today. But there you go, MySpace. You were offered to be friends with what? That guy named Tom? Was that it? Tom? Everyone got Tom on MySpace? Again, Jillian bringing it back to Zootopia. Officer Hops is a badass. She got the job done. In Zootopia, they said that a little rabbit couldn't do it, but the little rabbit could. All right. There it is, good people. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to have a Club Plus here on YouTube, and we're going to get into the comments. We're going to get into the chat. We're going to see what's going on with all you good folks. But thanks again to BetUS for officially joining us here as a sponsor. Damon Brew Show brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. Ike, love you, buddy. Dubliner, love you, pals. BetUS, love you too. Link is officially in the bio. And you know what? I'm going to put it again. Boop, right there. Boom, it's in the comments once again. You can find a link to the BetUS page that takes you to the site right in the comments. It's also attached to the description of this show. And have at it. If you got a little gambling that you're going to do it over there. Makes the channel look good. Makes the show grow. So thank you so very much for tuning in today. And please do remember that sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's gone. Today I won't forget to plug in the squeakiest disco ball in America. Here we go. Boom. There it is. Sounding good, feeling good. Are you ready to go? What do we got? Damon, late club time or drinks free only for pregnant women. Pregnant women drink free in Club Plus. That's what we get here. It is good to be with you. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for coming to the club. It's great having you here. Let's see. What do we got? Mario saying, man, 1-0 shutout, complete game for Webb. Yeah, those things still happen. True Blue, you are right. They got falconry at the Greenbrier. You can take a little falconing over there. But man, that is really scary. Really, really scary. You see a backboard come on out, and that's not good. That's not good. Hopefully everything is okay. John Hartley. Afternoon, Bruce. Afternoon, John. Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on by. Chef A. Got Joe G out there. Joe Schmo. True Blue. All the regs. Always good to see you. Bears and Texans. Ugh. Yeah, T from the 203. Yeah, I mean, historically, it's not a game you want, but when it's the only game out there, sure. Patrick Willis is going into the Hall of Fame. You're right about that, Joe. He is going in this weekend. Oh, the game's going to be up on the big ABC. Woo. I'll be flipping back and forth between Olympics and some preseason football. Again, if Caleb Williams were out there, I'd be watching the whole damn thing. But there you go. Rockin' New Era 84, bracing, saying me with the Niners, I'm ready to be hurt again. That's how it works. That's how it works. You want to fall in love, you got to be ready to be hurt. That's the way it works. So what else we got going on here? Sam Bruno, Mike, man. Complete games in baseball, it's a luxury now. I would have never thought that to be possible, but here we are. Yeah, it's incredible, right? I mean, complete games. Complete game shutouts coming in under a few hours, around 100 pitches. That's some Greg Maddux action right there. Joji, would you put any money on 5-2 on the 7-game road trip for the Giants? No. As a matter of fact, I would bet against them going 5-2. But that's what they need to do. When it comes to being offended, Chef A says she's out. I'll stay because I've been offended for years. After all, I've worked in kitchens. Right, guys? Yeah, there is, I mean, a kitchen tells no lies. You either can or you can't. You either can get that order up, out, looking good, tasting good, on time, or you don't. You know, a true meritocracy. That's what I like about it. Again, I don't know where this came from, but Irwin just throwing it out there. Poke nachos. See, you know, to me, I love poke and chips. I really do. I love poke. Hokey pokey. I do love poke. I like them with nachos. I like them with like little tempura chips. But nachos to me, I need cheese. And cheese and salmon and poke. These no, I don't. I gotta be careful. True Blue Forever. He must have rated clean your peens. Oh, dude, we get the boys in the bath talking about who's going to have the cleanest penis. Got to have the cleanest penis if you want to be popular in life. The conversations I have with my boy, it's incredible. We got some spoilers, some Olympic spoilers. Brace yourself. E. Scott Burns says the U.S. men won the 4-person rowing gold for the first time since 1950. You had some gymnasts on the medal platform for the first time in a long time. You had that dude from Turkey show up to that shooting competition. Everybody's got like goofy glasses and sound protection on their ears. He just shows up in a T-shirt that says Turkey written in a Sharpie and wins a silver medal. That was awesome. QJ, Bruce is king. Nah, QJ, that makes you a prince. Thank you so very much. Thank you for watching. Again, we got hello from Ireland, Padraig O'Byrne. Oh, it's always good to have you in here, Padraig. Again, how many people get to have someone watching in Japan and someone watching in Ireland all at the same time? I'm very, very lucky. Thank you so very much. Chef A, who, by the way, is a very proud member of the lesbian community, right? Chef A has a wife. We love Chef A. And here she is. A trans cis men and cis women is unfair. It's just an excuse for misogyny. I mean, I don't think it's misogyny, men beating up women. It's unfair. It's unfair. And that's what it boils down to more than anything else. We can conceptually try to do the right thing everywhere in life, but there is some truth to sports that doesn't leave wiggle room for the modern issues that we like to put on the table. And that's sort of the beauty of sports. You know, nothing matters other than can you get it done when you step in between those lines, when you step into the ring. And there is no woman who could ever hold their own with a trained combat professional who is a man. It just can't happen. I mean, I think like there's a lot of reasons why we've confused and muddled this issue beyond just like transgender rights. Like, do you remember the lies that everyone was telling about Ronda Rousey when she was in the UFC, right? Ronda Rousey is pound for pound, maybe the greatest fighter of all time, all genders. And some people were making the, like SportsCenter did that segment. No, she's not. No, she wasn't. Ronda Rousey stepping in a ring against Mike Tyson at any point in her life equals Ronda was killed tonight. Ronda Rousey got hit once by another woman so hard she decided she doesn't want to fight anymore, and she went to like the WWE. But she was being billed as, you know, Ronda Rousey. She's the single greatest pound for pound fighter ever. And maybe that helped people think, well, hey, maybe men and women can fight. No, they can't. No, they can't. Well, I mean, technically they could, but I know who's going to win 9 out of 10 times. Chef A just says, Damon, thank you. Thank you for calling this out. I appreciate it. Sporticus says it's real simple. There's also a reason there are weight classes in boxing and wrestling. If not, there would only be heavyweights and light heavyweights. Exactly. And, you know, one of the things that determines classes is, you know, classes redefine how strong this person is. And you wouldn't put somebody who is, you know, 10 pounds heavier into a ring with someone who's 10, 15 pounds lighter at weigh-in, because that is unfair. There you go. Simone Biles just won the all-around gold. Good for her. Good for her. We'll be watching tonight. Hey, I think that Simone can beat most men in gymnastics. Individual sports are different. And by the way, at no point during any of Simone's routines have I seen another person come in and trying to like knock her off the balance beam, knock her off the uneven bars. There's nobody trying to tackle her during floor exercises. So it's a little different. But yeah, Simone Biles is an absolute badass. And if it's, if we're determining here who can flip the highest and the most, she's special. She's special. But she's probably not winning the men's competition. Again, ESPN just put out that list of 100 greatest athletes of the last 20th century, and they ranked like Serena Williams number 3 or something, and Roger Federer was coming in number 7. That's performative. Because on the court, Serena Williams isn't taking a point off of Roger Federer. So if you got 2 tennis players in your top 10 greatest professional athletes of all time, and one of them could never beat the other, how could you have that one ranked on top of that one unless you're trying to do some gender politics, if you're trying to just appease to the suck-ups? Serena is the best women's tennis player maybe ever, which would have her coming in somewhere in the 50s if she were playing, being ranked against men. And that's just it. It's, again, and if we know that, if you can agree with that, how could you ever have a boxing match between someone who was born a man and someone who was born a woman and say, yeah, it's equal? There's a couple of gals out here just having coffee. SF Indigo is so right. Everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face. No doubt. Mario says, how about men stay with men's sports and women stay with women's sports, and you have to compete in the sport that you were assigned to at birth? Well, now, again, we're not acknowledging your newfound womanhood. And, here's the thing. I'll be happy to call you Debbie and, pull out the seat for you at dinner, and I'll do all the gentlemanly things and treat you like a lady in all other ways. But the lady that we're treating like a lady, who wasn't born a lady, when she gets into that boxing match, she ain't going to treat that other lady like a lady. All of a sudden, the man side of your brain. Here's another thing I can't figure out either. And this is one of those like, oh, Damon, you said that you're going to really offend people. I don't fucking care. You know what I never understood? The vegan hot dog. The vegan hot. If you are a vegan, could there possibly be a more offensive food item to you than the hot dog? So why would you ever want to express your veganism through the shape of the form of a hot dog? Like, where is the there? If you are a man who then wants to transition to be a woman, how do you still want to box? Isn't that a little... like, the whole point is you want to officially now be more ladylike or identified as more ladylike, but you want to continue to box? It just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up to me. It's like the vegetarian smoker. I don't eat meat because it's bad for you. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can't have it both ways. Let me just wrap up with this. Notice that there is not a single issue of a person who was born woman transitioning to be a man having any degree of success in a men's sport, and every single man who has transitioned to be a woman is the single greatest athlete that women have ever seen in that sport. Like, this one dude who couldn't compete at all against the men in the pool, transitions, and now Leah Thomas is setting all sorts of women's swimming records. Couldn't even compete with the men, dominating the women. When's the one time a naturally born woman transitioned into manhood, kept on continuing with athletics and just beat the shit out of every single dude in the country. You can't. You can't. We might call you Rick now, but you're not Rick. You're Ruth, and Ruth is getting her ass kicked because sports don't lie. Again, sports aren't here for your gender issues or confusion or reassignments. Sports happens on a plane of reality that no one's opinion is allowed in, right? There's just truth to bigger, faster, stronger usually wins. Yeah, there are no, hey, now I'm a woman showing up and kicking men's ass everywhere. But every single time a man does it, it happens all the time. So, maybe we should consider that going forward. There's your experiment being run right there. BC going emoji here to explain it. It's eggplant versus flowers. Those are not the same. Those are not the same. So, I think sometimes you just have to say, I'm sorry, no. We can't do this. We can't accommodate you in every conceivable way, in all walks of life, in all matters of moments. You are stepping out of an arena to step into something that eliminates you from continuing just the normal, what you were doing. It's tough, right? It's tough that you want to, what's the right way to say this? Basically, if you're making a choice to become, you're born a woman, now you want to be a man, or you were a man and you want to be a woman, obviously making tough choices is something that you're prepared to do. Well, part of that tough choice, I think, is now that, hey, your athletic career has to be changed a little. And change is obviously something that you're all about, because look at what you're doing. So you got to apply that to other places in life, I guess. MySpace. Tom was my friend. There you go, Joe. Congratulations. SF Indigo. The Tila Tequila era. God, there's a name that for 15 minutes, Tila Tequila, if you think about it, is like the original Haktua girl, right? So there we go. I think we've said, not only have we've said more than most will today's show, I know that for a fact. Thank you for being a part of this very cool audience. Thank you. Thank you very much. UC Steve says, oh, by the way, guessing BetUS is an offshore site, as we California people are not allowed to gamble on normal sites like other sites. Can it be an order drugs, alcohol? Yes, correct. Correct. It is offshore, but it is much better, if you don't mind me saying, than the offshore account that was doing business with me last football season. This is a much better option. I thank you very much for checking it out. Please do. And if you are going to sign up and you want to support the channel, that's a great way to do it. Jillian watching here, she says, we need to get the IT department to upgrade that disco ball. Honey, we need to bring in Kuroda. We need a full-on moving light show behind me here. I want to rival Fish this football season. I want it to be the Sphere. Damon, Pokey from Gumby? Yeah, see, I knew I was saying it right. It is Poke with a little front on the E. Indeed. Damon, guacamole and poke is guacapoke. Yeah. I'm here for your guacapoke. Absolutely. Guacapoke. I thank you so very, very much for being a part of this show, for being adult enough to handle this show. Thank you for supporting Ike's. Thank you for hitting like and subscribe and all your support of this channel. It means so very, very much, which is why it just breaks my heart to let you know that you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Oh, check this out. I'm going to be running this at the end of some videos this year too.
BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.